Hi everyone, this is Melanie Smith, and today I'm going to be presenting to you my final negotiation for BADM 7160. A bit about the negotiation. It's a three-part negotiation for a summer internship position involving myself, Lobby, and World Fuel Services. Lobby, our Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, is located here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and World Fuel Services is located in Houston, Texas. I was negotiating for a full-time summer position and a salary that I thought was at least comparable for what the job would entail. The first concept I used was the bargaining mix. So part of this three-part negotiation was done with the intentions of finding a job that would ensure my financial security and hopefully employ me full-time during the summer and guarantee employment upon graduation. So a little bit about Lobby. It's Louisiana's Chamber of Commerce and the state chapter of the National Association of Manufacturers. The position was originally for full-time membership sales representative, and the woman I spoke with, she's the vice president of sales and marketing, and this position is new. It just opened up at the beginning of the semester, and so when I contacted her, it led to us discussing whether it could be turned into a internship position for the summer and maybe for the fall. And then World Fuel Services is a Fortune 100 company based out of Miami that is a global leader in downstream marketing and financing of aviation, marine, and ground transportation fuel products and related services. And the summer internship location is going to be in Houston, Texas, because it deals with the aviation sector and international business. It's located right outside of Katy, Texas. And when I was speaking to the guy about it, it's also sales and marketing, but instead of Lobby, where it'd be cold calling for the Chamber of Commerce and dealing with current clients, this one will be dealing with international clients, because the way World Fuel Service is set up, it's a niche market for a small sector, the aviation sector. And so what I would be doing for them instead would be gathering data about the different types of clients, because here in America, when you do fuel, if you ever go to an airport and you see the big buildings outside of the airport or next to the airport, they hold the fuel. And so not everywhere in the world has the same kind of standard for how they handle their fuel locations and transportation. So my job would be to research and to contact different companies in different countries and figure out a way for them to collaborate with World Fuel Services. So in preparation, I began this negotiation by looking at potential internships, and then I applied to more, but specifically these two, and researched the companies before the interview. And the second concept I used was BATNA. So working in Baton Rouge for my summer internship, which would be part-time, was the best alternative to working full-time in Houston with World Fuel Services. So when I was negotiating with both of them, I was okay with one maybe not being full-time if the negotiation for the full-time in Houston didn't work out. And then the third concept I used was distributive bargaining situation. So my target pay for the summer internship, for both summer internships, is $20 an hour, and my walkaway point is $16. And the initial offer that I presented to both of them separately was $21 an hour. The execution, when negotiating with Lobby, I understood the position was permanent employment, and when talking to the lady, we discussed changing it up for me. So the place of negotiation was, after the interview, was Starbucks Coffee. She was really nice, and we both felt that we wanted to be informal and not so rigid, so that we could kind of understand what the other person was interested in and what they wanted from the job, and so on and so forth. And the message and its delivery, I used a persuasive style of peripheral roots and influence, because I understood that the important point first was that I maybe get the internship and work out, if they made internship, because it would be made specifically for me, what it would entail. And then I use the credibility of my academics and my extracurriculars in my previous work experience as a reason as to why maybe it'd be a good reason for her to change the setup of the job. And then I also used persistence and tenacity when discussing it with her, because she was hesitant about changing it, because what they were trying to do long term is have this as a full-time job with base and commission. They weren't really looking for an internship, but she said she wasn't opposed to changing it if it would benefit her. And then sweetening the deal. So when we discussed it, because like I said, it was full-time but permanent, I was willing to lower my price or my compensation to $16 an hour for the part-time gig in exchange for getting the internship experience. And I also used my association of being an LSU student to win her over, because she is from Louisiana and she did go to LSU. So we kind of had that in common, and it was an icebreaker. And then I also conceded on the point of being part-time for her, because that wasn't what I was interested in when I began the negotiation with Lobby. I was interested in a full-time with a certain pay, but I was willing to concede because I knew the other party would benefit from it and I would benefit as well. And for the informational source of power, I used my knowledge of Lobby and my knowledge of what I had to offer to the company as a reason for them to hire me, and that maybe we can negotiate further the benefits and the dealings as far as the internship. And then negotiating with World Fuel Services, so they both happened not at different times. So one began happening in March, and World Fuel Services began happening in April. And so with World Fuel Services, I used the legitimacy because it is a more refined business. I used the legitimacy of me having an international business degree as a reason for them to hire me, because I'm international business and marketing, and the added bonus of having a foreign language as one of my majors. That was reason one that I was like, you should really think about hiring me. And then interdependence, we both need something from this negotiation. I needed the experience, and they needed someone with my qualifications. And so that leads to the Pareto efficient, which we would both be creating value and claiming the value of hiring me. But as far as the outcome was concerned, I wasn't trying to be so yielding. I knew what I wanted and I knew what I would take, so I was willing to compromise as far as the hours and like the pay and stuff, but I didn't want to compromise so much that I'd be better off here in Baton Rouge than in Houston, but at least I got the job. As far as execution outside of the two, I had bystanders and audience. The bystanders were my parents, because the financial security granted from having an internship is something they're interested in, because I currently pay for my rent, and I knew that the financial burden of them paying for my rent and my car would be too much. And then the audience was Professor Farguson, because he was the one that pushed me to go to different companies and try and convince them as to why they should hire me, and concede on the fact that maybe I wouldn't get pay comparable to other MBA students, and that's okay, because at least I'd have the experience. As far as the outcome, it's still inconclusive, because it's only been like a couple of days, maybe like a week, if that, and the guy I talked to at World Fuel Services said it'd take about 2 weeks for them to figure it out. And then the woman from Lobby and I agreed to put the deadline for the middle of May, mostly because I had the power of saying that, yeah, I've got other people interested in me, so give me a chance to think about it and I'll get back to you. And so that is everything. Thanks so much for listening.